Okay, we are on another episode of NFO Cyphers, episode 14 to be exact. I'm your girl, Jayy Marie, and right here I have Chairman Allen. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling blessed.
You came in with such beautiful energy. I will say that.
Thank you.
Much. Now,
Abundance.
On a scale of 1 to 10, where you at? Energy-wise.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
1 to 10?
I said
So no
11.
number, just
11.
fantastic.
We up.
All right, you know what? I'll take fantastic. Now let's talk a little bit about your sound. How did you find your sound?
Man, I feel like my sound has always been like experimental. Like I'm discovering my sound constantly. But I would say this last project I dropped on a platform called Even, and we raised, man, almost $25,000 through our fundraising efforts independently. So it's not on any streaming platform, but through that project itself, I feel like I've really solidified my sound. It's the sound of the movement, the sound of the revolution in so many different ways, but it's all immersed in hip hop. It's all immersed in, like, I call it truth music, you know?
I like that, truth music, because I call myself the certified truth teller. I like to think that I'm a truth teller. Okay, bars. Let's talk a little bit about the fundraising process, and what made you decide to go that route. And then why $25,000? That's a lot of money.
That's what we raised, you know?
Oh, okay, so that wasn't a goal of yours. It just,
no.
Oh,
we
wow.
raised it, you know?
Did you have a goal in mind?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I think there was a concept of a plan, right?
Okay.
there was a concept there, but not necessarily like a solidified goal, because whatever we made, we were gonna, be grounded in that. But there was a few different ways that we fundraised. Like there was one, the Even platform, which is a pay what you want model. So if you want to buy the album, you can pay $9, or you can pay $100, or you can pay $500. Which we got a few $500 purchases, we got a few $100 purchases. It was all over the place, and it's this level of support that we have in our community, So we raised a few thousand off of the platform itself, and then we threw a music listening experience. It was in the Bronzeville neighborhood. We had all our people out. Every table was like, there was $500 tables, there was $300 tables, there was $125 tables that came with food and drinks, and it was an experience, and it was more immersive. So like we would listen to the song, and then we would talk about it. There would be mics in the crowd that would go out, and
so they're kind of they were able to do like a Q&A on the music, and then you could break down your meaning behind certain songs.
But the conversations were so deep because the songs were the conversations, right?
Wow.
And so instead of just asking questions about the songs, it would be more of like questions about like our view on policy, or like our understanding of the revolution, or our experience as a marginalized person. Like, you know what I'm saying? As a people, what do those conversations look like in the abundance? And it was so dope. It was so dope. It was powerful. We had the characters that were all over the space. It was, that shit was crazy. And it was sold out. Sold out completely.
How does that feel, though, to know that you have that type of, impact, but your words have impacted the community so much that they've showed up for you in that way?
I feel like it's always affirmation. Like we're doing the work. Because one of my mentors, he always says, out here in Chicago, we don't have a violence problem, we have a value problem. And I believe that the work that we do truly pours into the empowerment and the value of our young people. So like when they come back and that hits them a certain way, it's just keep going. We're doing the work of our elders and our ancestors, and this is the work of the future. This is the work for them, like for the next generation of kings and queens and God. Like it's about to be crazy.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, your music, I like to think that, and what you've already said it directly, is like your purpose is using your music to impact the community. At what point did you know that your purpose was going to be that? Because anyone can be like you. It's activism through music, right?
Raptivism.
And raptivism. And even with that, some people, they choose to, be the ones that are doing they're just around, but you're using yours through music. Well, obviously through your words as well, and connecting with people one-on-one, but music. At what point did you know that was your purpose?
I say when I met my wife, man.
Okay, shout out to wifey.
Come on, shout out my wife, Tanya Lozano Washington. She man, taught me so much. There was so much political education. There was so much education about my roots and like the power that my bloodline has. I'm Puerto Rican, Dominican, and Black.
Okay.
And just I knew so little about any of my people, you know? Like I always identified as a Black man because I don't know Spanish, and that's like, you know, I grew up in the Black neighborhood, and that's all it was. So like when meeting my wife, I just, once you know things, you can't unknow them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't unlearn them. So like the the injustices that happen to our people, like you can't just forget all of those things now that you know them. Like the fight for liberation that our people were into, like
Puerto
the
Rico
crazy,
is going through it now.
Currently.
Yes.
And I wouldn't have known that if I didn't do the education. Like we got to do our research because unfortunately the U.S. is not gonna define our history as U.S. history. So we got to dig for it. And that's where that empowerment comes from. You know, back to that value versus violence. Like that's where we get our value from our history. So the more they erase your history, the less value we have, and we still stay enslaved. Like, still slave culture.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Because it's even to go a step further, it even plays into our music, like the things that we feed ourselves as individuals, not having that balance.
Yeah.
If someone is rapping about X, Y, and Z, and then they're feeding that to themselves, where do they find their value?
It's all
where
programming.
It's programming, right?
Yeah, they
wow.
program.
So you found your purpose through that. So before, were you just rapping with no purpose, or was that?
I wouldn't say no purpose. It was just a different, like, because it was always like empowerment. We not gonna demean nobody type energy, but it was more like I want to find it. So like, I used to drop these things called 3 pieces. Every project I would have, it was like 3 different songs, and it would package into that feeling. Like the last one I did was called The Green Tape, Money, Earth, and Weed. Like that was the the concept. And you know, there was a lot of house music on it. It was dope. That project did really, really well as well. But that was just on platforms, like all streaming platforms. And man, I don't think there wasn't as much substance until I fell in love with my history, until I was educated on the things that's going on, or as I'm on my journey of education, because it's still going, you know. Right. Very, very much, I'm still a student.
Now, you mentioned earlier, you know, just about finding value and just even the aspect of you being multiple ethnicity.
Biracial.
Biracial, yes. But with that, there is a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to, especially in Chicago. You know, recently we, you know, heard about what happened on Mexican Independence Day with a young man who was beat up in the Little Village. And there's been a lot of conversation surrounding the unity between Black and Brown, right? And, you know, I know your wife is Mexicana. What does that conversation look like to unify us?
Come on. That was a bar of a question.
Okay.
I think it's just it's more of this. I call them courageous conversations. Another quote, this from the Bible. Without vision, the people perish, right? Mm-hmm. And if we cannot see us communicating, loving, thriving together, we can't see the human in each other. We can't see the value in each other. We can't see the similarities in each other, and then we can't build together. And I think, you know, the system is always dominated and you know, infected our minds with this idea of divide and conquer. And that's what we see today. Like even specifically right now, you know, with, you know, policies about like, I'm seeing the Black neighborhood get torn right now between like the Latino neighborhoods because of what's called the migrant crisis, and how like, man, this idea that just because exactly just this idea that just because this group of people is getting money, I can't get money anymore. But if for me, like, I feel like the concept should be, okay, they got money and you have money now, come give us some money too, bro. Like if we fight together, and I feel like there's so much example of that within the Palestinian movement for liberation. Like we see so much community outside. I see my Black comrades, my Latino comrades, my Asian comrades. Like everybody is outside. Everybody. And we just need to take a little fragment of that and put it into our movements as well. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, because once we get there, oh my goodness, it's gonna be scary for the system. It's gonna
I
be
feel
so
like
scary. Unity is
I
crazy.
said this the other day that like it's having those hard conversations because I feel like you ever seen like a meme where it's like the person is on one side, the other person is on the other side, and they're looking at the same picture, but the perspective is
Way
different, but it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Both sides are right, and no side is wrong. It's just that perspective.
Yeah.
So being able to have those hard conversations with each other so that we could understand each other's perspectives and understand that we're both fighting the same system.
Come on. That's a bar right there.
Okay. So
It's the same fight, man.
So with that, I want to get into a little bit, and this kind of goes back to that conversation with community. I saw this on one of your pages. It says community plus unity equals community. How are you using your communication to educate now both sides? Because I know that you and your wife do due diligence on, but I also know that you have like the Healthy Hood Church, and how are you implementing your belief systems, your values into that aspect of Healthy Hood Shy?
I feel like Sunday sessions is a healer.
Okay.
In so many different ways. It's our community healing space, and every Sunday, you know, rain, sleet, snow, holiday, it don't matter. Like we're in there. Community is gathered and we heal together. I think the best part about it is it's not like a religion-based space. It's we have a bunch of different guest speakers that come in every 4 to 6 weeks, and they have a message, and it can be, you know, the Nation of Islam, it could be Methodist pastor, it could be any form of faith, it could be a restorative justice practitioner, it can be one of my mentors. He's so amazing, and he's in the fight for liberation for our brothers that are currently incarcerated. He was on death row, exonerated. Wow. And you know, he does again this fight, and he did a series, and it was so amazing. It's so much power from this space, and my wife always says if we knew what to do, we would have done it already, and we would have been healed already as a whole, but we don't. So it's our job to give all the people the options, every option that we have. Let's find it together, let's heal together. So we meditate, we read from the Bible, the Quran, the Tao, ancient script, everything, and we heal together. It's so beautiful.
Wow.
But I would say like that's the space where so much communication happens, so many breakthroughs, so much effort happens.
How do you take that outside of Healthy Hood Shy, though?
I think
because it's one thing to have it where people are voluntarily coming, but
absolutely.
Then how do we reach those people that won't step in that building?
I think that's like the first step, right? Because we always say at Sunday sessions, though the session ended, the service just started. As soon as we walk out those doors, it's the application of new information. It's our responsibility to give this to our people, you know? So I think, you know, carrying the conversations outside the space, having those courageous conversations outside. I think everything that we create, in Cuba, they say the creators are the intellectuals, right? And it's, you know, it's a saying of the movement that the responsibility and the role of the artist is to make the revolution irresistible. So everything that we create has to be geared towards what our people need. The love, the abundance that our people need. And it has to be cool. You get what I'm saying? That shit gotta be cool, because I think that's where we got lost with so much. They've made ignorance attractive in so many different ways that, like, give me that. It's the hot Cheeto effect. You get what I'm saying? Make that shit look good, everybody's gonna want it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how do we create obedient slaves? We make them believe it's their choice. Make that shit attractive as hell. And then we'll call it power.
Come on.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Come on. So let's talk a little bit more about this album. Why not put it on streaming platforms?
So originally I was gonna just throw it on streaming platforms, and then I found a brother named LaRussell. Shout out to LaRussell, man. He's also from California, but I think he's from the Bay. And man, he continued to talk about this Proud to Pay service and how much it's supposed to support the artists and how much streaming is cutting us. And I was like, man, I don't know if I got the support for it yet. I don't know if I'm ready, but I did it. We did the listening party. We started raising so many funds that it was like, wow, y'all, like we're actually being supported. You know what I'm saying? That empowerment immediately. So Instead, we were like, let's prolong this. Let's prolong the drop on all services. Let's see if our people can further support us, because we want to go on tour, which we did. We went on tour comfortably, brought our people with us. Actually, one of the final stops in Chicago is October 6th, I believe, at Healthy Hood. We got Philly coming out, all types of stuff. It's gonna be dope. And but yeah, once we did that, I was like, yo, we might as well just prolong this. We prolonged it. We created a beautiful rollout, and we raised some dope money.
How does that work being a creative? Because I know, like, us as creatives, once we're inspired and we're ready to go, having to hold that back, and then, even sometimes with holding that back, you may go back to the whatever you created, even though in the moment you thought it was perfect.
Yeah. But
then you might go back and be like, no, I got to tweak this. Was there ever a moment for this project where you felt that way, or like just the impatience of like?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the whole mixing and mastering process was that for me.
Okay.
I was sitting very impatient. Like, also when dropping it, I think the part that kept me grounded with that aspect is like the entrepreneurship. It's like, if Target's willing to take all of your CDs, right? This is back in the day, all of your CDs, but they're only going to give you 2 cents per CD that's sold. That would be wild.
Right.
Mind you, it's going to be on this big platform, or you sell them out your trunk and you get 100% of that. So like, we was selling out the trunk, but we really cared about the entrepreneurial process.
They took it old school.
We was selling out the trunk, bro. Like, and it was, man, abundance. Our people empowered us for real.
Wow, that's amazing. Just sowing the seeds and then reaping the benefits.
Yep.
Reaping what blooms after you sow them seeds. Now, before we get out of here, you being a revolutionary yourself, name your Mount Rushmore revolutionary.
Okay. I say Fidel Castro. He up there. I would have to say El Haj Malik El Shabazz. If you don't know who that is, that's formerly known as Malcolm X, but El Haj. I would have to say Minister Huey P. Newton of the Black Panther Party is up there.
Okay.
He changed my whole way of thinking, my whole entire way of thinking. And then I would have to say, lastly, Slim Coleman. That's my father-in-law. He recently just transitioned, and he changed the fabric of what the liberation fight for the Black and brown community in Chicago, for Mayor Harold Washington and his whole election and everything. Like, our fight for the undocumented and them, man, he's been
leaving that legacy for Chicago.
Come on.
Well, thank you so much. Let everybody know where we can find you.
Come on. You can follow me on all platforms, chairman__Allen, ALLEN. Or you can, go check out the new music September 27th. I'm tweaking. 2 days before my birthday at Chairman Allen. Come on, go crazy.
Okay. Y'all go purchase that.
Purchase that. It's still
Make sure
on
you
even.
purchase it.
Come on.